Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, whenever you choose to listen to us. This is Tap 73, the Take a Pull podcast, previewing Down Royal first day to Friday. Good ground all around, Declan. We're going to need some rain. Hopefully we don't have another calamity of withdrawals like we did a few weeks ago. But look, we can't control the weather, but we can control what we preview, and this is we'll have to pick out all the good horses that are going to, at least handle this good ground. But before we get into that, how are things? How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
Yeah, I had a great week.
Yeah,
that was one of the best weeks of my life.
I can imagine. You can see the beaming smile on your face. Yeah, go on, take us through it. Go on. So your Friday, you got to the track.
So look, I was building it up since last Saturday.
Since last bleeding March, you were building it up. Once it is hard to go to Cheltenham for months, but anyway, go on.
No, it was some buzz. Like I made sure I enjoyed every minute of that, and it was absolutely brilliant the whole week. The amount of messages I got, wishing us good luck, and I just had an absolute ball. And I made sure to enjoy every minute of it because things like that are special. And now I go racing nearly every week during the winter, and to be involved with a horse like that who takes you to Cheltenham, and it was never part of the plan with him. It was always a dream, but it was never really part of the plan. And I made sure to soak it all in. And it was just the whole week was brilliant. The teacher giving George the note, we were wondering whether we should say he has a doctor's appointment. George being on ITV, Sally Ann Grassley coming over and looking for him. When she came to do the interview, gathered us all around, but look for George. And one of the most touching moments of the week was when Christian Williams came over and kind of pushed through us and said, I need to meet this young man, and shook his hand and got a photo. It was absolutely amazing. And then I suppose the real main man, ran an absolute cracker. Thought Lee getting the peach. I gave him an absolute great ride. Everything you want to see from a jockey, never mind a young jockey, the only inexperienced jockey around there. He just took his time, crept into the race, and even coming down the hill, he was so patient. And I thought we were on the winner coming to the last.
So did I.
Me and you watched it back a couple of times, didn't I, Andy? And
yeah, we did absolutely everything, picking them off one by one. Like you could even see, it's almost like the horse knew what he was doing as well. It was really unfortunate.
It was. I turned to Mick Jordan and I was like, "This is one of the best rides I've ever seen," because and having chatted with Lee, later on that night, he's such a good head and shoulders. That's a man going places. If get him on your horse in the Kinmore, because that, like I said, it last week.
Oh no, that's not for jock. That's not for amateurs anymore, is it? Yeah, sorry.
Like that, the way you rode, you wouldn't.
You take the 7 off anyway. Absolutely.
Yeah, that 7's going to be dangerous, to be lethal. We said last week, so I just thought the ride was brilliant, and he's such a good head on his shoulders. To talk to him, for a young man, really level-headed, really calm, very knowledgeable, and really nice guy. Most importantly, but he's definitely a jockey going places. I thought was an absolute peach he gave him, and some say
it was great to.
Yeah,
it's great to.
He stayed on to pick us up a little bit of prize money.
Not going home empty-handed. Although it wouldn't have mattered anyway if you went home empty-handed. The horse still,
Come here, he went off favourite, and he ran so well. Like everything, just apart from winning, the week was absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
he done everything we wanted him to do. I thought maybe Lee might be a disappointment earlier on in the race because he's normally handier, and I thought his jumping, look, just looking at the big screen, may have been a little bit sticky, but he got keen mid-race, which is more like himself, and I thought he really started to jump then, and just Lee was so patient on him. He done everything you could ask of him. He got bumped at the last, and Lee done well to stay on, but they also reckon the petrol gauge was running low, and he didn't get up the hill. But look, there's no shame in that. a summer horse going up against winter horses, 3 mile one around Cheltenham. You know, he's done us proud, and he's done himself proud, and he's an absolute superstar.
Yeah, no, couldn't have said it better myself. And he'll be back, I suppose, early next spring, won't he, for another, fruitful campaign.
At the moment, my thinking is, he has to. He deserves a break. You know, the ground's staying good. You're getting tempted all the time, but I haven't spoken to Ross, but he deserves a break in my opinion. That's where my thoughts are at the moment. And look, he's given us now the summer of a lifetime, and big plans for next year. And just we got home late. It was back there racing on Saturday, and I just want to say congratulations to Ian Donoghue.
That was where I was going to go to next. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's been humorous. Had a few drinks with Ian on Friday. Really, really nice fella. And the owner of the horse wasn't there on Saturday, so I jumped in with the lads who own St. Denis as well. We ended up in the winners' enclosure with him and in for a glass of champagne. So I was absolutely delighted for him.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. And we got home late Saturday night, and we obviously had the walk Sunday that you were with Andy. So just thanks very much to everyone who donated. We've raised nearly $3.5 grand, and it is so important for the Children's Health Foundation, or the Children's Health Foundation. You know, children are so special, and no child should be in pain. No child should be sick, and these people are doing all they can to help them out. So it is very, very important, and all the donations are much appreciated. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's fantastic. $3.5 grand. It's a lovely annual thing that yourself and Lee always put together as well. It's lovely. I always look forward to it. I just need to get myself a bit better costume now going forward. That's maybe the next step for next year, or an actual costume in this retrospect. And going back to Lisnamble Lad, who went on to win. Like Ian Donoghue probably deserves an award there. Like he looked like one of the worst handicapped horses I've ever seen. 1, 3, 4, and he's Sean Bone's giving him a peach. And look, it's onwards and upwards, hopefully for Ian and his team as well. And I could see him having a decent old winter now. With his string. Anything else catch your eye over the weekend, Dec? I know Bottler Secret was beat, but that was a bit of a joke of a race. 4 hurdles or something. Good ground, not usually what the offspring of Dragon Pulse tend to like softer conditions as well. So probably put a line through it and move on. Beaten by the fitter royals.
Well, look, I think he gave £8 to that winner.
Yeah,
his jumping was quite big, but that might have been all to do with the ground, and he
could have also been going 6 furlongs without jumping as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think the ground they get at the festival, like they'll water no matter what. They'll dump more water on at the festival. We're never going to have a festival with really fast ground again.
No chance.
Look, I wouldn't be put off. I'd be willing to give him that a chance, but he also couldn't eat this year. I've said I think he's a champion hurdle horse. It may not be when he's 5. It may be when he's 6. I think the horse has an awful lot of ability, and he's still done well, hating the ground, not being able to jump. He's still done well. He's still battled away up the hill, and look, I wouldn't be put off yet.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. It could be even, he could even go down handicap route later in the season, later in the spring. You never know. With a view to maybe progressing into going back into that graded class, like wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Just before we move on, I've been starting to trickle out some horses to follow on our Twitter or our X page. 2 have gone up so far in the shape of Active Innocence, who is technically exempt from the horses to follow list since he's subsequently now with Paul Nicholls after finishing 3rd in the Land Rover bumper or the Goffs bumper for Goroid O'Loughlin. He's been picked up by Paul Nicholls in the same colours now. I can't remember the owner's names. The Ginny's Destiny colours. He'll probably win a flurry of races in the UK. He'll make a lovely chaser. And obviously Attaboy Charlie retaining a spot on the horses to follow list as well, because if we're just talking about the 2 mile hurdle division, like he wouldn't have to improve that much to win a graded hurdle or 2 in Ireland. Like you could see him winning something like a Red Mills hurdle at Gowran or something like that. Usually those desperate quality of race. But maybe another Tilted the Liffey at the Dublin Racing Festival, possibly on the agenda then for him. There'll be a few more that we'll add to the thread going forward, so just keep an eye on our Twitter page for that. And without further ado, Dec, will we move on?
We jump into it, yeah.
Let's do it. Right, a notorious maiden hurdle to start off with, Dec, the 2 mile 6 maiden hurdle. You know what we've said about this race. Sometimes if you see two horses that you think that, classy bumper prospects, usually have the Gordon Elliott yard, that start off in this race, we have the suspicion that they tend to jump like snooker tables if they've, if they've good bumper form in the book and they're starting over 2 mile 6.5. It's a bit of a warning sign. Although the Martin Pipe winner, Better Days Ahead, was the winner of this, or no, he was coming to win this maiden hurdle last year, wasn't he? And he fell, I believe.
Who?
And Better Days Ahead.
No, she won the.
No, that's Brighter Days Ahead, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, Better Days Ahead. Yeah. I think he did run of this, did he?
Yeah, he was going to win and fell, didn't he, at the second last? I can't remember what actually won it in the end.
Oh, it was Down Memory Lane.
Or was it Down Memory? No, Down Memory Lane won the 2 mile. Yeah. I'm gonna have to fact check that now before I had my notes here beside me, but I will just double check that. Look, the Bective Stud are dual handed in the race again with the dual bumper winner Wingman and the kind of hot prospect, the Yellow Clay, who was a bit of a talking horse for the. Like he was actually into like single figures for a champion bumper last year, and then ended up, I think he ended up going off like 16-1 or something then for the Punchestown one, which he ran much better in, ironically, which was obviously on better ground as well. So an interesting enough entrant. My Leica in here as well, highly rated on the flat in the mid 90s. I was only second on hurdle and debut at Killarney, would probably want to improve for that. And I think there's an interesting runner here, Champagne Kid, who I don't think really should be overlooked in this market. I think he could actually run a huge race here. Interested to hear what you think, Dec. It's not a bad old maiden hurdle. We're starting to get into the good racing now, and hopefully the ground they go on this ground. That's the main thing. We don't get a lot of withdrawals.
Yeah, look, I did have a good look at Champagne Kid, but I think this may be just a little bit too deep. The two Bective Stud horses, they both won 2 bumpers. The Yellow Clay was second to Redemption Day at Punchestown, as you mentioned. Wingman, he won the 2 bumpers. He was including one at the Punchestown Festival. He actually beat back to normal in a point-to-point, which was quite a good yardstick. But you mentioned My Like It, and the fact you don't like he was beaten on hurdle debut. He was beating a short head to Nosnaree in a novice hurdle. It wasn't even a maiden hurdle. So he's gone up against a horse who's won a maiden hurdle with lots of hurdling experience. One Big Boom was behind, and he won recently, the weekend, was it?
He did, yeah.
Look, My Like It's had 3 poor runs on the flat since, but I think there was a lot to like about that hurdle run. And while he is a horse with plenty of experience, like as you said, he was rated mid 90s on the flat. He's gonna come on for that hurdling debut. Like it was a deeper race than most would encounter on their hurdling debut. As I said, I know he got a bit away off Nosnaree, but like he was a maiden winner, so I think he might win his maiden in the spring. But he ran a good maidens as well, so I think My Like It takes the beating here. I'd imagine that the 2 Bective Stud horses will be shorter when the market opens, but I can see money coming for My Like It. And Justin Young, Andy, I can see him running quite a big race, but maybe we'll find this a little bit too deep.
He realistically, on all known form, he should, but he is the type of horse now that he's ran a so-so race on heavy soft ground to kind of start off his career with. Ran okay behind Blue Devassi down at Clonmel, again on soft ground, and then just started to improve. Obviously, he managed to win his 2.5 mile bumper, so it's no surprise he's starting over 2 mile 6. I'm just wondering now, he could run well here, and maybe they get him handicapped on winter ground. He's a horse I could just see popping up in the spring off a nice mark, maybe in the high 1-teens. I think he's classy enough. He could even end up in the 120s. But he's going to win races, and he's going to go under the radar no matter probably what he does here, unless he goes and wins, and then he'll probably be bought and probably be in the the green and gold next time we see him. But he is a horse that I thought had a bit of class to him when he won at Listowel. I thought it was a really, really nice run. Rob James rode him that day, pulled away from Arctic Lane in decent enough fashion. I thought he had a lot more in the bump under the bonnet when he won it, and it honestly wouldn't surprise me if he ran better than a lot of people thought here. Whether he's going to be good enough is another question. Probably not, but he's definitely one you're going to have to keep a very close eye on. Like, he may even have the ability to win a maiden hurdle, possibly somewhere like, I don't know, around Thurles or something like that, depending on if the ground stays good or if he can maybe back up quickly before Willie and Gordon get more of their big guns out. But he is definitely, Champagne Kid's definitely one you need to keep in the tracker. It was definitely a nice win at Listowel. I would probably, with a gun to my head, be with the Yellow Clay. Like, his bumper form is good. He clearly likes good ground, given his run behind Redemption Day in the Grade 1 last season. I can see where you're coming from at my Leica. I have to. You are right. It wasn't novice hurdle. It wasn't a maiden hurdle. That he was second in and was probably a little bit unlucky, and you could argue that sets the standard because it was obviously over hurdles. It wasn't a bumper. But it's just that Willie Mullins just doesn't tend to. He avoids this meeting like the plague, doesn't he? And that's kind of what I'd be a little bit worried about here. I wouldn't be having.
That wouldn't bother me at all now.
No.
If Willie wants to run one, you know,
he'll run one. Yeah,
I'd be more looking at, geez, Willie's run one. You know.
yeah.
But like, I think from what I'm seeing in the past, you know, there's a good chance Gardens too can't jump, and they're going to need this trip. Whereas my Leica probably wants this trip. You know, you'd be basing that on his flat form where he's running over the 1.5 miles. You know, he's probably just not as quick. Whereas those two are probably slowed down by their jumping. So, it's jump racing. So I'd be keen enough now on with these.
Yeah, well, look, if I got 25-1 plus on Champagne Kid, I might even have the each way bet and just back, like, assuming that we get the full runner, assuming we get 8 runners or more, 9 are declared. I'm expecting some non-runners given the ground. If there's 8 or more declared, I would back them to probably be third.
Would you be better in this race though? Would you?
I don't know, like
distant fourth even.
Yeah, like, you could easily, like, he mightn't just be good enough, but like,
or even if he is good enough, do you not want to be finishing?
Exactly,
you know,
like, we don't know
places with him.
No, he could be for sale though. Like, you never know. So he could be for sale. I was quite impressed what he did at Listowel. I think that run went under the radar a little bit, and I think there was a lot more left. Now, granted, it's 2.5 miles that he's won over. He's probably going to be a 3-mile hurdler, highly likely. But I'm just very intrigued to see how he do. I don't think he's any slouch whatsoever. And he probably won't mind the decent ground given how well he ran on it last year. I don't think we've ever covered a maiden hurdle as in depth, or maybe we're probably going to go back to Christmas since the last time we did.
It's been a while, all right.
Yeah, but it's nice. We're getting right back into the swing of things. It's nice. I like this. The Lough Construction Limited handicap hurdles next. Back into the good stuff. 80-102 here at 1 o'clock. There's one I quite like here. I was talking to this on the train home to you, actually, on the train home before we're going through the form study. So I'll mention that in a minute. 16 runners again. Hopefully we don't get marred by non-runners. But who do you like here, Dec?
No, look, you take it away because I've a bit to say about him as well. So I don't want to steal your thunder.
Fair enough. The one I do like is Paddy's Milestone for Simon Crawford, number 4 on the card there, carrying 11:11. Look, a progressive looking 5-year-old who ran at the Punchestown Festival last time out. Now, obviously, I'm taking a chance that he goes well fresh. He finished mid-div in behind tuning a box of Tom Lacey's in the Full Circle final. A race and a series that we covered a lot on this podcast, and we will cover it going forward this year as well. It's a brilliant series. I really, really, really like it. That wasn't a bad race. There's going to be plenty of winners from that every single year. A good few winners have already come out. I think Millstream Lady has won since. Billy Lee Swagger was having a great season. He was 4th in it. And then you go right down the list, like Clonbury Bridge, a horse that we'll probably talk about later, and you tipped up last week, Dec. The RTR, who was well beaten, has won subsequently. Paddy's Milestone, I think, may have just found that race a little bit too hot. But if you go back to his run before when he was staying on behind Mousy Brown at Down Royal, that was a really strong race for the grade. Billy Lee Swagger was in there as well. Again, Sport in the Park as well for Noel Mead. So he was staying on fourth that day. I'm taking the risk that he's going to be able to go well fresh. Hopefully the better grounds is, it is a little bit of an unknown. I wouldn't put the race at Punchestown down to the better ground. I'd probably just put it down to a much higher class of, race for the grade. But if he is ready to rock here and go well fresh, I think he's going to take the world a beat, and I could see him going very, very close. So it would be Paddy's Milestone for me, Dec. Who do you like here?
I have him down as one for the next day.
Yeah, fair enough.
I really fancied him that day at Punchestown in the full circle final. And I just think he might take the run here. And, I reckon he has room to even come home well and go close, maybe pick up a pound or two. But I think Friday should put him spot on for the next day. Like you covered his form. He actually got dropped 3 pounds for the run in Punchestown. So, he
not uncommon for their summer break. They kind of often get dropped, but it is good that he does.
Yeah. So it was a handicap debut when he's behind Mousy Brown, and like she hasn't stopped. She's come out and won it. She's gone chasing and she's been brilliant. So still only a 5-year-old. Yeah, he's won for the next day. I'm not going to back him. So sorry, Andy. I'm hoping he does.
All right. Well, I'll be backing him the next twice anyway for sure. But I'm not going to. I just could see him go well fresh here, so I'm going to keep him on side Friday.
I'd like to see him turning in now, looking very, very dangerous, and then just taking a blow, lovely. Next day. Oh, down the Credit Union. Look, there's 3 others I think have a good chance in here. The one I go for is probably it's Il Sensio, and I've put him up before. He may have needed the run at Downpatrick earlier on this month. He's now up 2 furlongs. He is 7, but he's improving, and I think this might be his 3rd or 4th handicap. But I just think he was off since June, and he might have just needed that. He just weakened late on, and I think stepping up and trip now with that run under his belt, I think he's going to be tough to beat here. The mare of Marshall Watson's Baranza Wild, she could take a big step forward here. She's a point-to-point winner. She was handy on her handicap debut, and I think her jumping's going to be much better on Friday. I can definitely see her outrunning her odds. And another one who could outrun his odds, Container Madness. Never been off and had a good few goals in handicaps, but he's been steadily stepping up and tripping. His best run was probably over 2 miles 5 the last day. He's up to 3 miles now. I reckon you're going to see much more improvement again. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Speranza and Wild and Container Madness ran into a place, and maybe Paddy's Milestone taking a blow and just Maiden late on. Well, Il Sensio scoots clear.
Very good. One thing I will also say about Il Sensio, Ricky Doyle, he deserves a bit of a shout out. Riding out of his skin at the moment. He's probably one of the most underrated jockeys in this country, actually. Yeah, well, look, he's been brilliant. Obviously, he's won his last 2 rides. Obviously, I was kind of sick watching Grandero Bello winning at Galway. He gave the horse an absolute peach, though. And then another top horse that was tipped up a few weeks ago, didn't tip him or mention him, Wexford, Old Man Dingle, gave that a peach as well. Rode him with plenty of confidence at Wexford. Improving horse there as well for Owen Griffin. Look, I think he's a very, very underrated rider, Ricky Doyle, and I think people are going to start noticing him a little bit more. Like, obviously, I think he's won an Irish Grand National, hasn't he? I think did he ride Freewheel and Dillon?
Freewheel and Dillon, yeah. Did he ride Heaven Help Us in the?
No, that was not Ricky Doyle. I don't think that was. Oh, that was a 7 pound claimer who ended up riding out in America for. Oh my God, who did he ride for? The woman in America came over here with a few horses.
Kerry Bryan.
Yeah, I think she rode. Yeah, Kerry Bryan. Yeah, I think he rode out there. I'll find his name now in a minute. But no, I don't think it's him. Anyway, yeah, Ricky Doyle riding with a lot of confidence, and just keep an eye on Richie Condon. That was the one, yeah. just riding with a lot of confidence at the minute. So be interesting to see how he goes. And then obviously, Paddy's Milestone, as Dec thinks, is one for the next day. I'll be back on the next twice regardless. But we'll see how that goes. Moving on to the first graded race on the card, the first of two. The Irish Stallion Farms EBF Feathered Lady Mares Novice Hurdle, grade 3. I was back and forth between this race. Dec found this one quite difficult to break down. 9 runners as of right now. San Risk, quite an interesting mare. Savante, she's either won or blown out in 3 runs to date. 2 from 3 in her career. And Mystical Goddess as well, who has won a point-to-point and then made a winning start under rules last time out. Royal Hollow as well has to give weight away all around, but has very consistent form in the book. Is rated 123. You would probably think there might be something a little bit better at the weights and better than that rating in here, maybe hiding. Dec, who do you fancy here? It's not a bad grade 3, but I've probably seen stronger.
Look, I think a lot of these are very talented, but just they need to put it together a bit more. They're typical mares. Royal Hollow, she hasn't always seen out her races, and that's the problem. But she is consistent. She's just struggled to get her head in front. She has won twice in the summer, but as you said, she's to give weight away all around here. Miss Dishy's a maiden winner. She beat Matt Best quite comfortably at Limerick on fast ground last Sunday. She was a bumper winner in August as well. Mystical Goddess, she's a point and hurdle winner. Like, there's a lot of here they've shown plenty. Like, it's full of good horses. As you, Savante, as you said, she threw in an absolute howler in between a bumper and a hurdle win. She's formed with Phil soon, but that leaves her, I think, a little bit defined with San Risk, who's shown some really smart form.
She has, yeah.
The 4-2 no flies on him was really, really good. And she went back into bumpers and probably disappointed because he expected having run forward in the maiden hurdle at Leopardstown at Christmas behind a horse who looked as good as no flies on him. Going back into bumper company, he expected her to win, but he was beginning to think, was she a little bit overrated or overhyped on that run? But no, she's still quite consistent, and her and Royal Hollow are arguably the most consistent here, but Sanris gets the weight, and I can see, look, if she runs a race, I can see her winning this. But look, any of them could win this. It's very interesting. It's just, they're all hard to trust. Apart from the two who are very consistent but have struggled to get the head in front as much as they should, and that's Royal Hollow or San Risk. But I go with San Risk, and she is consistent, and she gets away from Royal Hollow. And look, in this sort of company now, if she performs, she might be just too tough to beat.
Yeah, she's a lot of experience as well, which is, gives her a bit of gives her a little bit of an advantage, especially at this stage of the season. She's also race fit, although I think they all are. I'm pretty sure they've all ran within the last month. Look, what would you say about, like, Savante has obviously hammered her in a bumper, but like San Risk has clearly gone forward since. Savante has, as you said, blown out and then has won her maiden at Tremor.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying, did Impervious win this as a novice hurdle?
Impervious won this, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's kind of drawn me towards Savante. The book, obviously Mark Walsh taking the ride. Colin Murphy's won the race in the past with Impervious, and she has beaten San Risk. Now, do I think
she's not as good as Impervious?
No. Well, you never know. She's only had 3 runs in her life.
I remember covering this on USL.
I remember, Impervious just abused hurdles. Like, she just didn't respect them. Like, and that's how you kind of knew she was good.
She went off favourite for a Royal Bond after winning this. Like, she was... I can't see an Impervious in this. They've all had too many goals. Well, they haven't all had too many goals, but like, Impervious was consistent.
At beating the crap out of hurdles, and then she became a brilliant chaser. But no, she was a very good hurler as well.
She went to Cheltenham after that, and she ran okay. She was 5th or 6th, I think, at Cheltenham. Like, I think Impervious was always streets ahead of this.
Oh yeah, if anything was even within £10 of Impervious, they'd win this probably. But like, look, Savante might be like. I know I'm always happy to forgive a horse one run. I don't think she had to really. I don't think she had to do anything special to kind of win last time out. And she's gone and won a bumper, so the drop back 3 furlongs and trip isn't going to worry me too much either. She's like, I don't think the ground. This is going to be probably one of the few races on the card where we don't see any non-runners either, because they've all been running through the summer, so you would imagine ground's going to be fine.
Well, they all want black type.
Yeah, exactly. It's important as well for the mares. I'm going to take a chance.
The only one this season where every horse is trying.
Yeah, I'll take a chance on Colin Murphy. He's obviously, I've mentioned it a few times. I don't know what happened to the yard last year. Could be a blessing in disguise. Impervious was out for the season last year, because whatever was over that yard they're hopefully over. They're over it now. They had Colin Murphy had a nice summer. There's one novice hurdler which I'll drop on the Twitter soon that I am of extremely high hopes for. Maybe as a chaser in 2 years' time. They'll win a few races this year. I'll drop that soon. But I'm going to take a chance on Savante for Colin Murphy. I think he's going to have a nice season. And hopefully she doesn't throw in a howler like her penultimate run. And it's going to be San Risk for you, Dec, is it?
San Risk for me, yeah.
Lovely. On to the next race, and this is one of the juiciest races we've probably covered in a long time. This is it's only going to be it's a duel pretty much. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's unfair on King of Kingsfield and maybe even Smooth Tom. Brighter Days Ahead versus Daddy Longlegs. Daddy Longlegs has to give £1 to Brighter Days Ahead. Brighter Days Ahead, obviously, with her grade 1 penalty for winning at Aintree last season. King of Kingsfield, who was backed off the boards early doors for the county hurdle, ran a stinker, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he really showed up. Ran okay in grade 1s either side of that. And Smooth Tom, who's been a brilliant old servant, the horse that you're a fan of, the yard that you're a fan of, really, Dec, the Slattery's. Won on the flat, if I'm not mistaken either. Did he? Yeah, he won. I think he won. He won at the Curragh last week, didn't he? Or 2 weeks ago? I think
he won at the Curragh,
yeah. So a very, very good race. This used to be the WKD or the Wicked Hurdle, wasn't it? I think it used to be a great.
Talking about races that gets bubbles burst now, this is one of them. You had
Sam Crow got beaten this, didn't he? And a few
Jade was beaten in this.
Yeah.
Now look, she went on to do brilliant things, but
yeah,
like it's a race now that, and it's for second season, or like they're not even stepping into the big boys and girls league. They're all novices a few months ago, and they can run stinkers now and here. Just on King Kingsfield, and he gets £7 from Daddy Longlegs. He's only rated £6 inferior, but he just lacks something. He lacks something at the end of a race, doesn't he? He just doesn't go and win. He travels, and he's just.
Do you say there's a few King of Kingsfield shaped holes in some of the schooling fences down in Gordon's, and that's why he's here?
I would say. Well, would you say there's Brighter Days Ahead shaped holes beside him?
Possibly.
Nobody expects
like Looney Tunes. You never know. It's always weird seeing Jigginstown horses spending more than one season over hurdles. And look, that's not to say it's only, it's the 1st of November when these run here. So look, there's every chance they go chasing straight after this. We know Gordon won a bumper on this card with Firefox last season before going novice hurdling, so there's still plenty of time, but it is.
I think Gordon may have said he was going to give a few of them a hurdle run, and I don't think Jigginstown are so. I don't think it's all about Gold Cup horses anymore. They have a wider range, but I still think Daddy Longlegs takes all the beating here. He's getting his ground. He's inconsistent, but when he's good, he's very, very good. And when he's very, very good, it's usually on that and fast ground. Still only a 5-year-old. Yeah, I think he takes the beating here. I was like, I know her only blip was Cheltenham when she did have to carry a penalty, but I just wasn't in love with Brighter Days Ahead all last season. And even though she bolted up her Aintree, I just haven't really warmed to her. And the fact she's coming here now, she's not really for me.
Well, she was beaten sprint, wasn't she, at Cheltenham? And there's every chance this race turned into a sprint before.
Yeah.
And it's, on paper, unless King of Kingsfield does the donkey work, and there's probably no horse in training that you would want to see in front of you, because he's just not going to go forward. He needs something to chase. So is Brighter Days Ahead going to make the run? No. Is King of Kingsfield going to make the run? No. Daddy Longlegs could, but he's not going to go hard.
He wouldn't mind the sprint.
Yeah, Smooth Tom is the one, as we just mentioned, and this is quite interesting. Won over 1.5 miles. It'll be 10 days ago by the time they line up. He's very good flat form. He's won twice. He's won his last two he's won 2 of his last 3, I think, on the flat. Has 16 lengths, however, to find with Daddy Longlegs on the Tipperary running. His best way of victory would probably try and stroke this from the front, and stranger things have happened. For a race fit horse, that's it's fair to say he's still improving. So I don't know if I'd be confident enough to put my money down as an each way bet on Smooth Tom, but something's gonna have to make the run now. Maybe Braygock or Miss Fury. Sure, Braygock wouldn't take them halfway.
How far would they take them? That's
you know
what I mean.
Yeah. Well, Miss Fury's rated 128, 123 and gets all the allowances, so she should be able to take them into the home straight. But even in a sprint, if she got to run the race, you'd be. No. Smooth Tom has the ability that if you disrespect him, he could hurt you. But it's I don't know. It's probably still hard to say, is it?
Yeah. Look, did he win a graded hurdle at Nace last year?
He won the Fishery Lane, but I think it lost its graded. I think it lost its graded status.
Right.
But he's no slouch though.
No, he's not. But as you said, he does have 16 lengths to find with Daddy Longlegs.
Yeah.
20 pound to find him. I love Daddy Longlegs, and he does throw in his thinker, but
he does.
He's very, very good, and he's getting his ground. So,
I'd probably agree with you. I'm probably trying to talk myself out of him, and it's probably because I was hurt on him a little bit last year. But he's everything going for him, and if it does turn into a sprint, I would fancy him to beat the mare. So, especially if he's only has to give her £1 instead of 7. So,
he's only wrong at the weights with King of Kingsfield by £1, and he can't finish out races. So, it's all in his favour. So,
you convinced me. Fair enough. You convinced me. I'll go with you there, Daddy Longlegs.
Collection.
Fair enough. Something has to win. That's kind of the way it came down on it. Right, moving on to the 240, the WTW Insurance Brokers Handicap Chase. Not a bad old race this. I had this between Hypotenuse and a horse I tipped only last week in General Claremont too. I think that was a really strong race for the grade that he was 4th in, wasn't beaten far. Not a bad race. I think Hypotenuse is going to probably try and go from the front and hold on if his jumping holds up. Really, really interesting how he's going to, the complexion of the race that he's going to create. But who do you like here, Dec?
Well, I think the fact that Keith is doing 11.4 on Gavin's
it's telling.
If you let me, is telling you that they fancy If You Let Me. He has ridden Hypotenuse. He won on a McGowran last year, I think, and he went from the front. Sligo to Sunday, Ceanndana won. 11.4, I think, is Keith's minimum weight.
His minimum, yeah.
So this horse has had 11 runs on the rails, run on the all-weather, run on the flat, has run over hurdles and has run over fences, but never ran in a handicap. And I just like horses to have handicap experience because it's different. You're going a different pace, and your jumping has to be really up to, really up to a handicap. But he is only 5, and look, it's probably a tip in itself that Keith is taking the ride, but I'm just going to swerve him because he hasn't got handicap experience. And I go with Tuckmill, and it's not often my selection is an 8-year-old, particularly when there's a 5-year-old in the race. He won all the races off 88 and 94. He was second to Someone's Wish, given £7 a beginner. Someone's Wish is in here, off levels on Friday. It's his handicap chase debut, but he's ran in the handicaps before, so he can jump at pace, and that's really what's swaying it for me. I think he's a good chance of off 104. I think he's still improving.
Fair enough. That's an interesting one. I'm going to. I think, you know what, I'm going to stick with General Claremont. I think Hypotenuse is going to set this up for a strong stayer at the trip. Now, General Claremont's obviously been run over 2.5 miles. And I thought ran really well in a race that I think was strong for the grade last time out, as I said. You know, there was a lot of consistent horses at the forefront, like Winding River. I know you tipped Clonbury Bridge, Dec. Lake Chad was, you know, decent form, and Remy Martin, who was 5th, I think had won last time out. I just think that was a really nice race for the grade. So as I said, Hypotenuse, big psychopath, you might remember him from the Triumph Hurdle a few years ago, pulled up at the top of the hill, I'm pretty sure, after just running away with, I think John McConnell trained them at the time, I can't remember who rode him. Was the same colours. I'll try to double check that now. I think it was Sean Bowen. If you remember that, I think that was Lossiemouth's Triumph Hurdle. So yeah, I think he's going to try and he's probably going to set this up now for a closer, and I could see General Claremont being ridden very, very cold and pouncing after the last and coming home strongly to maybe to go and win this. Hopefully the low sun doesn't cause any problems either. I think that caused mayhem on the card last year. Like, there's so many things with the ground and low sun, but look, I suppose it's just another thing you have to think about. Onto the Mongay Communications Beginners Chase Deck 2 Mile 3, and this is another interesting, another 2 Bective stud horses in Firefox, who people obviously cannot wait to see. Gordon Elliott tends to, you know, unleash one of his big guns in this race. Did Sam Crow? I think Sam Crow won this race. Envoy Allen, Mighty Potter. Firefox trying to add his name to the Roll of Honour now, and Gringo Debrel, who's a horse I think at one stage I fancied for a county hurdle before he got injured. He was behind Dysart Dynamo in the Moscow Flyer.
Was it a Carl? I fancied him.
I fancied him for one of them. I think you fancied him for the Carl, and I fancied him for the county. But he hasn't been seen in what 1,020 days. It's saying here, so a long way. A long time ago. Be interested to see what.
22, he's off since.
Yeah, be interested to see what ability he retains. I'm sure he does retain some ability. 2.5 years, isn't it, Jenny Mac? Big stage, obviously in there for Gordon Elliott as well. I wouldn't imagine he'd be troubling the judge, but a very, very willing and interesting opponent will be Mossy Fen Park. Henry de Bromhead obviously paid decent money. He was owned by Clipper Logistics. There was a falling out. He went through the ring. Henry retained him, got a syndicate together to retain him. So a very interesting runner if he holds his ground. I don't know if you're going to see him on very quick ground. He could be a doubtful runner. Hopefully he does run though. And then One Night Standard, like, it'd be interesting to see what type of ride she gets. It'd be a quiet enough one, I'd imagine. Right, Firefox then, Deck. Is there any chinks in his armour here?
I do like Mossy Fen Park, and look, he's another one I've found really, really hard to warm to Firefox. And he did win the bumper last year. I think he carried a double penalty. He carried
12 stone 7, I think he was. And there was weight taken off his back though.
Yeah. But look, he was third in the Supreme, second at Aintree, and second at Punchestown. I don't really know why I haven't warmed him, but I just can't. And if Mossy Fen Park runs, I will fancy him a year younger, 5. He was second to Captain Cody or Easter in the 2.5 mile grade 2 novice hurdle. Really good run. Won here on Stevens' day. There's a lot to like about him. I know we mentioned him a couple of weeks ago when he ended up being a non-runner, but if he runs, I'd fancy him to have a go at Firefox. I just can't warm the Firefox. I don't know what it is.
No, but it's fair enough. I think it's because he spent so much time on bumpers, because they ran him in a novice, they ran him in a maiden hurdle, and then he was beaten in a bumper, and then he won his next 2, I think, and then came back and won a third, and then went novice hurdling. So you're probably just soured by that, which is understandable. Look, I just have a feeling like Mossy Fen Park versus Firefox will be one of the clashes of the weekend, but I would have my reservations. I don't think they're going to try Mossy Fen Park on quick ground. I hope they do.
Well, like, we all know it's going to be quick ground, so why are you declaring? So, like,
yeah, it's a fair point. You know, yeah.
The ground, the ground's not going to change. Surely, not due any rain. So, you can't just declare them a non-runner.
Yeah. No, look, we'll know quite soon. Hopefully we look, it's a pity that that more rain hasn't fallen, but hopefully it doesn't completely wreck the card. Be interesting. It's not a race to have a bet in, I don't think, but be very interested to see who does go on and win. To round off then, Dec, the bumper, I imagine this is going to be an open and shut case, is it? That hopefully we don't have to be having a bet in the bumper, etc., etc.
I didn't look at anything.
No. Well, look,
I looked on Friday.
Yeah, well, that's it. And look,
what's the race?
Yeah, it's not it's not a betting proposition, is it? It'd be interesting to see how some of the horses get on. Obviously, Calypso's Chance, Jacob's Ladder, expensive enough purchases. Jerry from Kerry, a winner, I think a bumper winner already. Yeah, he has a penalty there, as does Arctic Craft. But no, not a race I'm going to be getting too overly involved in. It'd be interesting to see what comes out of it. Obviously Gordon has some good horses that he's run in that before, but no bet from us there. Do we have a nap at the top, Deck, before we go? Possibly not.
Oh, we have a nap at the top. Is it
Daddy Longlegs by default? Like he will be odds against, like probably Daddy Longlegs.
Yeah, I suppose we couldn't agree on Paddy's milestone. We both think he win just on different days.
Just on different days.
Both days. It's probably Daddy Longlegs, yeah.
Yeah,
which will probably surprise a lot of people, because there's a lot of brighter days ahead fangirls out there, and Paddy Longlegs is as flattered to deceive, but it's all in his favour Friday. Yeah,
no, completely is, absolutely, especially the complexion of the race more so than anything. Like brighter days ahead, as we said, has already been beaten in a sprint before up the Cheltenham Hill. Look, it might be much different in Down Royal. I can't see them going fast in that race. Be interesting to see how she gets on. But that's all we have time for on Tap 73. Thoroughly enjoyed that actually at Down Royal. Yeah, it's good to have the National Hunt racing back. Look, by the time you listen to this, Tap 74 might be already on your devices as well. And we cover the Saturday, obviously the Champion Chase on Saturday. Hopefully we get a nice field. There's grade 2 on that card as well, and some other nice maiden hurdles and a 2-mile handicap hurdle too. So really, really good racing. But until then, guys, just keep liking, sharing, subscribing, keep interacting with us. It's always a blast. And we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yes.